What's to stop Howie Roseman from trading up all the way to 1 and getting Carter?
Oh, boy.
What's to stop him? It's 9 fucking spots. What's going on, Philadelphia? Hello, everybody. Oh, yes. I am full of Sazerac. The man to my left, that is Vince Quinn. He is full of scotch. Oh, and that is why we're popping our liquid deaths this evening. We are recording this on a Tuesday night. It is Bell and the Birdmen. I am John Barchard. Taylor Kredatus is over there somewhere, cameraless, once again. I have got to say, Vince Quinn, over all the things that we have talked about throughout the offseason, as Jonathan Gannon has departed us and will fail miserably in Arizona, and I can't wait to see it, I am equally as excited about where the Eagles' heads are at in terms of defensive coordinator, because there's been a lot of names floating around, some NFL vets, but mainly what's come out in the past couple of days. They're searching the college ranks, and I think that's the smartest thing that you could do right now. Can I tell you why in a couple of different things? Well, say hello to everybody. I'm sorry. I'm wound up. I'm excited. Have you ever had a Sazerac before? I don't think Taylor tried it for the first time.
I did. First off, Sazerac is just fun to say. It could be anything. Sazerac sounds like a casino game from the 1930s.
Yeah,
right?
It tastes like that in your mouth too.
Oh, sorry, honey, I gambled the kids' college fund away on Sazerac. It just sounds like that. But no, I mean, we should be excited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good shit going on here. All this coaching stuff is so much better than I thought it would be. By the way, like, I just want to say one of my most thrilling things, we can run through some of the candidates, but like, Lovie Smith isn't on this list.
It's very nice to see
You know what I mean?
that.
It's just like guys that have been around for forever. They're really not that compelling, but it's like, oh, they're a defensive coach and like, they're around. Because here's the most important thing for me when you look at what these candidates are and why I'm excited about it. The Eagles are one of the 2 last teams in the whole league out of 32 that actually gets to look and speak and have real conversations with people. And Gannon left after the Super Bowl. He didn't even know he had an interview until after the Super Bowl. So they had no time to figure out any of this, and yet you look at all this list. I mean, Vance Joseph has been a head coach. He was in Arizona. They fired him. Arizona's a dumpster fire. It's not really his fault. They got a lot of issues over there. Sean Desai, an assistant coach out in Seattle.
Also blitzes a lot.
They bring out a lot of – Seattle's had a lot of good guys that have had solid careers that have come out of that tree defensively. Pete Carroll knows what he's doing.
Knows Robert Quinn very well.
Although he should have let Russ cook. And no, never mind. I'm sorry.
Don't even start that
I shouldn't have said that. Chris Shula out of the Rams, interesting guy for multiple reasons.
Let me just say this real quick.
Itself, yeah.
Fuck him. I don't even want. I know. Fuck him.
Because he's a McVay guy?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
They were on the Chargers staff together.
Too much hair gel.
With, what's his name? The quarterback ruiner of all Mike McCoy's staff. Like, no.
Okay.
Due diligence.
I will
cross him off the fucking list.
I'm crossing him off my list right now.
Do not want another Brandon Staley lookalike. Okay? That's what that is. Don't want to do it. Who else?
All right, so he's out. Jesse Minter from Michigan.
Yeah, he's okay. You know what's funny? You want to know who his dad was?
Who?
Rick Minter, who coached, there's a connection here, the Cincinnati Bearcats. So shout out to, the Kelseys and all that stuff and Brent Selleck and blah, blah, blah. Also, Rick Minter was the linebacker coach for Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
So, yes, Jesse Minter, I'm already excited. Yes, I'd love to see it.
All right, well, anything connected to Chip Kelly makes you excited. And then the guy that, like, because you're going to have to explain this to me. I mean, as you know, and as Taylor knows, and maybe some of the people listening know, I don't really give a shit about college football.
Which is horrendous.
There's only so much time in a day, and there's a lot of good television. I got to live my life. I don't know. I don't know.
This man plays Pokemon. Will not find time for college football. Don't believe it for a fucking second.
One beautiful 3-week span of my life that will come and go. It came and went. It was a wonderful time. I have some great Pokemon. I will duel anybody.
Fair enough.
The finest Pokemon.
But you liked TCU Kansas.
You did.
That was fun, and then I might have fallen asleep at the end of that game. I can't remember.
There's no way you fall.
I fell asleep through some
way.
of those games.
No.
Maybe I woke up. I might have woken up for the fourth quarter. This was when we were on the road. I woke up during one of the TCU games, and I think I fell asleep during another.
So you didn't watch TCU Michigan?
Yeah, you come on. Man.
I didn't even know they played.
All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, So what? Yes, you hate college football
so
for no
as the
apparent
college
reason.
football enthusiast here, which is not me, you bring up Jim Leonard,
Oh,
and
my
you're like,
God.
"Oh boy, Vince, Jim Leonard," and like
Oh,
you went on.
God.
So explain Jim Leonard to me, and why should I give a shit? Why is he the guy?
So Jim Leonard, if we and let's put this in perspective too, because there's a lot of college coaches that they're talking to, including Michigan's defensive coordinator, who we just mentioned in that little rant there with Jesse Minter. Forgot to mention that where he's at. So they're looking at that. They're looking at the fella down in Georgia, and who's Will Muschamp's guy, their co-defensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, DC down there. I'll have to Google that if my phone wasn't dead.
Listen, when we try and identify what is actually happening in the NFL with defenses, this is why I'm like on my anti-Brandon Staley rant. I'm so sick of hearing it's positionless or you got to get this or that. It has nothing to do with where the game is going. Every defensive coordinator now in the NFL is still doing the how do you stop the Chiefs? How do you stop the Eagles? Well, we're just going to allow them to matriculate down the field however they want, and then we're going to, pick our shots here and there. We're going to disguise coverages left and right because that's what you have to do, and it's the fucking wrong way to do it because no one's looking at what you're doing in college. This game is college now, and if we're not just accepting that, like that's where we're at. The hiring of the ages of all the new coaches that are here, even with veteran quarterbacks, are all around Nick Sirianni's age. 37, 38, 39. Offensive minds starting out that trend. Sean McVay, yes, but it's expanded now to where you're going not only, well, if we're copying all the offenses that work and are great in college with all these fantastic athletes, there's some defenses out there like Georgia, like Michigan, and like Wisconsin, who is exactly Georgia's defense, except they're doing it with 3-star kids instead of 5-star kids. That's why I like everything that's going on with Wisconsin and the idea of that. Not only is this guy young and 40 years old and has head coaching experience now because he took a dog shit Wisconsin team that, it's the Big Ten. So take of that what you will. But turned around a very high expectation program that fell very short very early, had an above 500 record, and you know what they do in college to cover the RPO and to fuck you over and to just where I love to see where the NFL should be, they cover the 53 yards, not the 100. And that's what this guy does the best. You know how many down linemen he comes out with in 11 personnel, meaning 3 wide receivers for everybody that doesn't know that?
Yeah, how many?
2.
2?
2 down
What does that
linemen.
even look like?
So it's all nose. This is all Jordan Davis territory. This is all Nakobe Dean territory. This is all thinking out loud how he wanted this motherfucker out of here anyway because he knows that Cox isn't going to be here. Well, I don't know if it's entirely true, but let's just go along with the fan fiction for a minute. I just think this was set up to at least Jennison Hargrave, Jennison Cox. You have a great defense. It's good enough to run your pennies, your 4-3-unders, your whatever you want to call it that Jonathan Gannon is schemeless about. But you have to define something else. You've got to go after the RP. You've got to go after the very thing that you're creating on the offensive side of the ball. That's what Wisconsin does. That's what Georgia does. And before, in a blink of an eye, you think you understand what they're doing, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's 35-0, and you're completely one-dimensional, and you have no idea who's your mother and who's your father. And that was perfectly described by a bunch of people playing against Wisconsin, playing against Georgia. It's about the fluidity of covering the sidelines. And I think somebody just shared a TikTok of the Georgia Tech quarterback that just graduated and moved on, but he described even Georgia's defense of going, it's like playing with 33 yards instead of 53. And it's so sporadic and all over the place because if you have 2 down linemen, and I'm going to say this so we understand clearly, all of these linebackers that are flowing all over the place to cover that ground with speed, and not linebackers like, just TJ Edwards or even Nakobe Dean. We're talking about, this is where Hassan Reddick comes into play. This is where your favorite things of Trust me, I know Jonathan Gannon got killed for this, but every defensive coordinator, including Vance Joseph, does this in dropping that edge into coverage and making you think one way or the other. So your boy Vance Joseph tried to do this with, what's-his-face, Terrell Suggs, and boy, did that look like shit. and that's a big reason why the Cardinals failed. But when you have guys like Hassan Reddick or like what they like to use in Wisconsin, what's-his-face, Nick Herbig, the brother of Nate Herbig, as the edge, the sack leader.
Love Nate Herbig.
You see him moving all over the place. It's pretty insane because it tries to eliminate wide receiver bubble screens, swing passes. When you make decisions on RPO and you have an edge screaming down, chasing with the quarterback, there's always someone to match the running back. So it's, to me, schematically, if you look at Michigan, Wisconsin, or Georgia, that's where the Eagles are thinking, and I love where this new breed of defensive coordinator is thinking. It's thinking about the sidelines and not the deep shots.
Well, new breed of defensive coordinator is the thing that really sticks with me because it feels like the Eagles philosophically, they went with a lot of young coaches, and they're willing to double down on that. This is the kind of stuff we were talking about a few weeks ago, right? It's okay. If you've got this structured in a way where Sirianni's the guy overall, but offensive coordinator can call a lot of shit, they're going to have some freedom to do some things. Brian Johnson was going to get 6 head coaching jobs or whatever the fuck, or 6 OC jobs. Everybody was like, oh my God, everybody's going to hire this guy. So like, yep, you can step up. You're going to get a big responsibility. Obviously, the offense is great. No problem. Defense, same thing. You've got full control of that. This can springboard you into a new gig in 2 years to be an NFL head coach. Everybody should want this job. Like, clearly, everything about the Eagles is incredibly attractive because these guys do not have major incentive to come here. Like, if I'm Minter and I'm at Michigan, they just had one of the best seasons ever, right? Like,
Are you fucking kidding me? I'm getting out of there immediately if I'm Jesse Minter.
Isn't he getting paid? You got to figure he's getting paid in a program like that.
It's Jim Harbaugh.
He's getting paid, though.
That's a dead anchor. Woo, woo. I don't care if they made the playoffs. They just got to get their ass kicked by TCU and all that. Like,
Yeah, Michigan peaked.
Jim Harbaugh has tried to get out of there twice. Don't let anybody else fool you.
Oh, no, he's definitely wanted to do that.
And sorry, here's where I come into play. You are dead on when this is a very attractive job because you get to be the guy that just says, oh, your boy just fucked up. That's all. I can go win you a Super Bowl. No problem. If it is about keeping a team to less than 35, send them. I got this. I totally got this because I know we're still in dreamland. I know there's a lot of people that are going to believe that they're going to be in some Super Bowl hangover fog. Typically happens with a lot of people that miss, not winning the Super Bowl. But I don't see another humongous thing that's stopping you in the NFC from a quarterback standpoint. And if I am welcoming now, let's be honest here, a 49ers blueprint of defense that has way different variations from a college level thinking where you're actually attacking the same shit that Kyle Shanahan is trying to throw at you, which you're going to see them this year, by the way, and it's going to get even tougher, and we've all talked about this in the schedule and blah, blah, blah. There is nothing sweeter in the world for one of these smart-ass motherfuckers to come to Philadelphia and say, I'm going to go fucking fuck up Kyle Shanahan, go get a head coaching job. Because they will. There's too much talent here still. We'll go over that in a little bit. I think we'll have a little debate. But I love this, and I hope that they stick with college. I hope this isn't just, let's just go steal some ideas and talk about people. I'm going to be so pissed off if this is just like, let's just tinker with some college guys and figure it out. Fucking hire one of them, please.
Well, yeah.
No, I am so out on NFL vets at this point that this is in my head.
Yeah, diversify, baby.
Please.
Diversify. That's what it is. Yeah, like, think about this. Let's bring up Chip Kelly again. Shall we? Why not? What did he bring to the NFL that changed everything? Read option, right? And then he had all those packaged plays, and we're like, we've never seen this before, and look how explosive this is. And then the whole league changed. That kind of stuff matters because the NFL has this weird, like, hoity-toity bullshit about them as if they're better than everybody else. But when you're somebody that's a college coach, you have shittier players just overall. You do. Are you going to tell me a college player is as good as an NFL player?
Underdeveloped.
But you have
they're not as good.
But you have 90 of them.
Put Alabama against.
I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that stupid thing. I'm just saying. I think they have, in context of what they have to work with, I think they have a lot of talent.
But,
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
there's talent in college football. It's not like college basketball, which is a whole weird, miserable thing that's dying by the day.
Right.
But all I'm saying is, like, there are times where it's so noticeable in college where it's like, oh, this guy is just so much better than the competition that they can't stop him, and he's going to go off for 250 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns because there's just nobody to cover the guy. Like, those kinds of mismatches happen constantly. So you don't have easy answers for a lot of problems, which means you've got to come up with very complicated solutions.
Yes.
You need to be a great thinker. You need to come up with new innovative shit. So if that's 2 down linemen and 5 linebackers, which still feels gross, then fine.
Or whatever.
Fine,
You can
but-
intermix that with DBs, box safeties, whatever. Yes.
But whatever it needs to be. And for the Eagles, they've made a major interest in the secondary, and I think that's an important thing, too, when you look at all these candidates. I mean, Jim Leonard played safety, former Baltimore Raven. That checks our box. Let's see. Sean Desai has had some experience in that way. Denard
Yes.
Wilson, defensive backs coach. Like, there's
Yes.
so many things when you look at a lot of these guys. They have familiarity. I think Chris Shula as well, your favorite candidate on the list.
Fuck him.
I think he had some secondary work as well. So, like, there's a lot of interest and investment in the secondary, and if that's the kind of innovation that it takes, go for it, bring it, and let's see what happens. Because the thing is, you can only promote internally so much till it gets to a point where guys aren't ready, they're not good enough, whatever it is. Like, you can't guarantee that every, I don't know, basic positional coach or quality control coach is suddenly going to be the next Jim Harbaugh in 10 years.
Right.
Like, so you need people from other places and their connections and their networks to also come in with their assistance, because Shane Steichen is going to take people. We're already seeing Jonathan Gannon take people. So where are you finding new guys? Where are you finding those ideas? And it's nice that they're appealing like that Sirianni's open to that Howie's looking at all that. And just seeing this list is about as good as you could ask for.
Yeah, because for the position that the Eagles are in, especially with the secondary coaches, because now we're so hepped up on, or we were, on Denard Wilson probably taking over, that, man, if you have him as the secondary thing, as one of your strongest assets, developing your secondary over the next couple of years, then you hire a DC whose sole focus was that for a long time. And then adding on the fact that, just saying it today because Jeremiah mocked Witherspoon to the Eagles at 10, and you're just thinking out loud of all the shit that I've even complained about leading up to this offseason was just pay corners. You're going to miss when you draft anyway. This franchise just can't fucking do it, okay? Like, they got over the wide receiver hump. I still don't believe that they can draft a corner here, but it'd make me feel a lot better if that's your DC and your third-year DB coach going into it, while knowing that you're probably going to have to draft 1, if not 2, corners heading into this offseason.
Before they drafted Devontae, you would have said they're worse at wide receivers and corners.
100%. Because they couldn't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
At least there's some hits. At least you had Macklin and Deshaun Jackson. You're going, okay, sometimes they can do it.
2008,
I know, but I'm saying it sustained the franchise for a pretty long time. And then they missed horribly again after that.
For
So,
everybody,
Yeah.
I mean, and all these guys in the secondary that they made bets on that none of them worked, or they worked in other places. Like, even if you want to go like Rasul Douglas in Green Bay has done a little bit for himself. He's made a career. Jordan Poyer, if you want to get deep, for Buffalo,
Sure.
starting safety, he was a 7th-round pick, washed out. Eric Rowe having a career. He's been in Miami for all these years. He was a 2nd-round pick, and he was gone after a year. Like, they blew so many things, and you're getting Ronald Darby and all those kinds of guys. Like, it all just honestly, and people hate to say this, but the most successful corner they drafted in quite some time was Jalen Mills. I mean, the guy was a 6th-rounder.
Yeah.
He was your starter for a long time, and he helped you win a Super Bowl. It's a pretty big fucking deal. But that's where all this gets interesting too, because think about it, right? All these guys, or enough of these guys, have an emphasis or some level of experience in the secondary defensive backs coaches. Who is the guy right now that could get a tag, that is talking a lot of fucking shit on Twitter and is due for a huge payday? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That guy right now, if you've not seen his Twitter feed, he's retweeting yesterday's price is not today's price and all that kind of shit. Like, he has been so out and about today, and he's right. I mean, he was one of the top guys in the league in interceptions. He missed a couple of games and still was at that level. Great in the run game, great in the pass game, versatile player, has played the slot. He can do everything that you want. I mean, any team or any DC that comes in and sees that guy goes, I want that guy. And you should. because part of it is the market for safety is fucking peanuts. I mean, highest safety is getting paid about $14 million on average. Highest corner, $20 million. You're going to tell me it's that big a difference? Top guy to top guy? Get the fuck out of here. So I think that kind of stuff is ridiculous. But seeing where he goes, who these guys bring in, how they want to use him, that stuff is interesting. Like, think about the secondary as a whole. Bradbury's not coming back. I think we can all accept that. All right.
You don't know that?
Dream.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Dream. All right. Great.
I'm not
if
closing
he
that
comes
door
back,
yet. I'm not closing that door yet.
Yeah, it's closed for me. I think it's done. But
Low key, very lowest key that I could possibly find.
yes.
Maybe trade Slinky Bradbury.
Wait, what?
On the lowest of the low, maybe trade Slay.
Oh, okay.
And keep Bradbury, and then draft Witherspoon and grab your butts and pray. I'm just saying. But, and one more thing before we get off of CJGJ. There's no fucking way they're tagging him.com.
$14 million for 1 year is not bad.
They're not tagging him. Period.
If he's sending a lot of tweets saying he's looking for all the money, how much does he value himself? How much does his agent value him? Those are the big questions.
He's going to get paid. No tag. Yes. Continue.
I hope he gets paid. That's obviously what I want. The guy's like 24 years old. Do I want him forever on his next deal? Yes. He should be in his prime by the time that deal ends. It's fucking ridiculous what Howie did. But all these other guys in the secondary, right? Like, it's one of the biggest questions of this offseason. Bradbury, as we just talked about. Chauncey, as we just talked about. Marcus Epps is an unrestricted free agent. Like, that's 3 out of 4 starters in the secondary right now are not under contract. Now, you could say, like, oh, Epps, they could probably get him back, sure, but it's like, what is his market? He had a hell of a year, all things considered. We didn't know he was a starter. Played really well this year. So, like, he's in line for at least a decent payday. He is an average starter. Like, that's
9?
good. Yeah, like, that's good money. You know, so that kind of stuff is going to matter. It's just you pile up all these things where they're going to prioritize. There's going to be a lot of shit going on. They've got to get a defensive coordinator really soon. The combine's here in 2 weeks. Free agency is here in less than a month. They got a lot of stuff that's got to happen in a short amount of time, and they're still talking to a lot of people.
I just think that. Do you think that's a problem? I think what you just said is beautiful. That's great. Let's see what happens. Marcus Epps is not a day one signing for fucking anybody. And if you want to do that, you're insane.
I agree with that.
Like, you have an opportunity to see where CJGJ's market ends up, the safety market ends up. You'll know what you're heading into the draft. There could be 8 other people that replace Marcus Epps, and then he goes to the Carolina Panthers for $12 million or whatever, or something. The Houston Texans, maybe
Arizona Cardinals.
Exactly. Maybe
Arizona Cardinals.
if he's taking all the credit for developing that. So I don't know. Reed Blankenship seemed okay as a safety too. If you need to, again, you're gonna have to pay. You make
Come
up
on,
for
Vince.
these things, Vince. Good Christ, the
Beavis
front 7.
Island.
That's why. Yeah. But and in that case, then high key, don't trade Slay. Obviously, if it gets too complicated, no, don't do that. But
That's too easy to imagine now.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I think there's. I think this is great. Like, you have so much optionality. Plus, you got to sign all these fucking linebackers back too. So,
well, see, it's so funny hearing you be like, we got to sign all the linebackers. That's exactly
you do. Everybody's saying, "Oh, this." Like, every player we have talked about on the defense, everybody goes this. Can't fucking afford him. Well, he's out. Can't have him. What do we? Shut up. Yes, they could probably re-sign all of these fucking guys. They could. 1-year deals, extended dummy years. There would be a way to do it if you wanted to bring everybody back here and minus Bradbury. There'd be a way to do it.
I mean, theoretically, is there a universe? Yes. What is the likelihood? That's a whole different thing. So I don't think it's likely. I think there's going to be a good deal of change on the defense. I don't think it's a horrible thing. It's one of the best rosters I've ever seen in my life. Part of it's just it's just how shit goes. You can't be like, why don't we have an elite roster in the history of the league every single year? Why can't we have almost the most sacks in the league history every single year?
What's to stop Howie Roseman from trading up all the way to 1 and getting Carter?
Oh, boy.
What's to stop him? What is to stop
You're
him?
giving me heartburn.
Why?
This is
what,
spicy.
What heartburn? It's 9 fucking spots.
Yes!
It's 9 spots.
It's 9 spots.
I've seen that man jump twice to go get a redneck dumbass quarterback, and it didn't work out, but he still fucking did it. And that was after Chip Kelly. Why is this? Everyone is stopping this team from getting better, younger, more like we have not even touched on Jordan Davis being a sole nose tackle with one of these defensive coordinators, which is very fucking possible. And Georgia's defensive coordinator could be here coaching his fucking old players. Could be better.
Okay.
This whole defense could. We just killed Jonathan Gannon for sucking asshole for 2 straight years. This is great.
Or people overrated how bad he was, and we'll see. I don't know. They were trying to pay him more than head coach money to stay. I think there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for that.
It says go to liquiddeath.com/bell and get 20% off every piece of merchandise that is so kick-ass and cool, including this chainsaw hat that our YouTube audience is wearing, that wonderful sweatshirt that I don't believe Vince Quinn has ever washed in his life out of good luck.
I washed it yesterday.
And he washed it yesterday, so I'm a liar, but I'm not a liar about 20% off on everything that they have at the store, and we've been sipping on Liquid Death, and we have got a huge announcement regarding that on March 1st.
Oh,
you better be ready
baby.
for that shit, because we just got the old package for the notice and the who's a whatsy, and it's very exciting. Almost as exciting as hiring college defensive coordinators. Fuck yeah, Howie! God damn it! Join us in the Discord, bellthebirdmen.com. That's Vince Quinn, Taylor Kredatus. I'm John Barchard. Okay, road to victory! Go Birds!